Hey guys, and welcome to Quality Shot. Conor Benn got it done in the fourth round against Chris Algieri. A fantastic knockout. What a display from the youngster. And I'll tell you what, he just keeps on improving leaps and bounds. We're going to break it down, and of course, we're going to talk about what's next as well for Nigel Benn's son. A bit hard to call him that. I think he's starting to come out of that shadow, but his dad was a legend nonetheless. But if he keeps on putting on performances like this, he will definitely have his own legacy, and he's starting to build something here. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, but look, I think he's trending in the right direction, and we'll also touch on how far as well. I think he can go. Some of you on the live stream mentioned what you thought, so I'll mention that as well. Thank you to those who joined the live stream. The turnout was really good. As always, fantastic to have some new people as well joining on the live stream. It's always great. Please do let people know, get involved as well. I'll pretty much get through all the comments unless they're inappropriate, but otherwise I'll go through all the comments as usual. I'm happy to answer questions as long as they're boxing related, and it doesn't have to specifically be about the fight night either. It can be about anything boxing related, and I'll give you my honest opinion on it. And it's always good to have a little discussion on that. Right, let's get into this. So Conor Benn, going into this fight, I have to be honest with you, I was in two minds. My first thought was, yes, he probably should be able to stop him late on in the fight, because Chris Algieri, yes, he's fought a couple of times in the last, I think it is 2 years. Once was against Tommy Coyle in 2020, which was, it was actually a little bit of a war, to be honest with you. It didn't look fantastic on Algieri, considering that, yes, he did win relatively comfortably in the end, but it was just one of those fights that you watch and you think, look, Algieri isn't looking anywhere near what he used to. Of course, he's fought people like Manny Pacquiao and Amir Khan and Errol Spence, lost to those three, but he did beat Provodnikov, so who was a solid fighter. So, look, he's a former world champion as well, Chris Algieri, and this was a test for sure for Conor Benn. Is it more of a test than someone like Samuel Vargas or Adrian Granado? I don't know. Potentially, yes, if Chris Algieri turned up. Now, Conor Benn going into this, there were a couple of question marks around his patience, and also not just his patience, but how he set up the KOs and the power punches and actually set traps and managed to also close off and corner the ring as well. Because in the past, he's had issues, like with Granados, for example, where Granados has been happy to then, once feeling a little bit of power, thought, yeah, I'm just going to stick a move, and Benn wasn't able to break that down and get the knockout, which I know after this fight, actually, he definitely, let's just say he highlighted that he wasn't particularly happy with that performance, and he was frustrated that he didn't get the knockout there as well. But this time, he did get it, and it was a fantastic knockout nonetheless. Chris Algieri looked pretty sharp early doors, as I guess you'd expect. The first round, I thought could have gone either way. Some people might have given Chris Algieri. I think I potentially gave Conor Benn, but look, it was a swing round for sure, in my eyes anyway. And Algieri looked quite sharp. He wasn't scared. The first thing he did was pretty much run to the center of the ring and throw some hooks to the body of Conor Benn. But there's two things I want to point out, because I don't want to go on about this too long, because I know you guys will get sick and tired of hearing my voice. But there's two things that really impress me from Conor Benn. Look, he's been a spiteful puncher for a few fights now. The power is clearly there. Yes, it's impressive, but that's not what I want to highlight. And the reason why is because, as I said, we've seen it before. Two things for me, which are really, really impressive from Conor Benn. Number one was his movement, his defensive movement. So the way that he moved his head, right? So the head movement was there. It was so apparent throughout the whole fight. There was sequences where Algieri would throw double, triple jab, or a 1-2, or a double 1-2, and Benn was literally just ducking and dodging every single shot. Obviously, that didn't happen throughout the whole fight, but it happened in large periods of that fight where he was moving really well. He was anticipating Algieri nicely, and he was moving his head really, really, really well. It just looked fantastic. It really did. He wasn't putting his hands up to block with the glove, or catch the shot on the glove and then counter back. He was instinctively, with his reflexes, managing to evade those punches, which I thought was really, really good. It was something that, as I was watching, I thought, look, I haven't seen this from Conor Benn before personally. Could be wrong. I might go back to a previous fight and say, oh, actually, but the way that he did it and how effectively he did it, I don't think it's been seen. And from a defensive point of view, that was extremely impressive. Like, genuinely, really, really impressive. And I think that will put him in good stead, considering the style that he fights with as well, which is a banger style. He likes to come forward and get into exchanges. But if he can manage to avoid getting clipped much like that, of course, Algieri is not a world beater at this moment in time of his career as well. But look, that was definitely a highlight for me, was the head movement and the foot movement. So just general defensive capabilities have clearly increased and improved by Conor Benn. And also the body work. He was throwing this left into the body, which, Canelo throws a lot, by the way. And I'm sure a lot of people would have started watching those fights and thought, hold on, why am I not doing that? Invest in the body early doors, and you break the opponent down after 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds, right? Depending on how good their tolerance is to those body shots. Algieri became more and more hesitant as the fight wore on, and Conor Benn was just hammering away with that left hook to the body. It was a fantastic shot. He really invested in it. A couple of right hooks as well to the body, and he mixed it up, body and head, body and head, body and head. Really, really well. At one point, I think DAZN had the percentage of power punches thrown effectively at 51% for Conor Benn, which is really impressive. Now, of course, we can't take it as gospel because comfy boxing, these punch backs not always, well, a lot of the times they're not 100% accurate, but let's just say it's in that ballpark figure, right? Still really, really good. And, he does, like people said on the stream, throw with fight, for sure. Algieri seemed to take the punches pretty well for the first couple of rounds, and he kind of nodded his head as if to say, no, you haven't tagged me, you haven't hurt me, really. A lot of the times when people shake their head, it's normally to say, subconsciously in their head, they're shaking their head saying, no, you've got to shake your head because that hurt, but we're going to have to tell him that, no, it didn't hurt. But at times, actually, at the start, I thought he just did it because he wasn't hurt, to be fair to him. But then came what can only be described as a really, really impressive knockout, and I'm sure it will be in contention for knockout of the year, you would imagine, with the way that it happened. Algieri up against the ropes, and Conor Benn working a little bit. Then there was a slight break in the sequence of events, and there was a little bit of a, okay, who's going to go first here and who's going to counter. Algieri took the first step. He went forward with a jab and was trying to throw 1-2 actually. So through the jab, Benn ducks underneath it, and as he's throwing the right hand, Algieri, Benn goes with his own jab, knocks back the head of Algieri, and then just completely cleans him out with a thunder right hand. It's a straight right hand. It's a 1-2 down the pipe, as people would say. And it was like, whoa. It's almost like at that moment, he was completely out of it. He completely slumped forward. It was really, really bad. I mean, he was completely gone. I think he was unconscious as soon as he got hit there. And it was a phenomenal knockout, like genuinely. Luckily, he was all okay as well, so we can say, look, really, really good shot from Conor Benn. And look, Algieri's only been stopped once before by Errol Spence. I think it was in the 5th round, so this was a round earlier. Of course, Algieri is not as good a fighter as he was back then. But either way, this is a good win. It's a very, very good win for Conor Benn. In terms of what next for him, because I don't want to go on too long with this video, of course, as well, just as a reminder, we will be doing, we should be doing the Parker Cesaro watch along this Saturday, and also the Jake Paul versus Conor Woodley to watch along as well. But in terms of what's next for Conor Benn, there's a few options after in the post-match interview. His preference seems to be the winner of Amir Khan and Kell Brook, and that would not be my preference as a fan. Yes, I think that Amir Khan versus Kell Brook will be a good. Yeah, I think that would be a good. It would be a good start. It'll be competitive for sure, but I don't want to see the winner of that face on the bench. Yeah, I really don't. I think it won't be. I think, look, if Conor Benn, even if Conor Benn wins, which he could potentially, for me, it just doesn't add anything to really resonate personally because these guys are so washed up. The reason why that fight is exciting is because they're washed up at the same degree, so it will be competitive. Conor Benn needs to go after someone else. He then mentioned Adrian Broner, who is a little bit washed up himself as well, but that I can kind of see a little bit more. And I can see it as a slightly more attractive fight in the sense that he could do that in America. He'll probably do good. He'll probably do some good numbers. Adrian Broner as well. He's younger than those two, if I'm not mistaken. And who knows? He could take it seriously, and he's still got a little bit left at least. I don't know. We'll see. But even Eddie Hearn said that look, before this fight, that ideally, if they were going to make that fight, they'll be hoping that Adrian Broner is not up for it. Because if he is, then it's going to be a difficult fight, no doubt. I'd imagine he won't turn up anywhere near the level that we've seen in the past, so it should be a winnable fight potentially. But it would be a challenge still, of course. He's a multi-weight world champion who's got pedigree. And then his last choice, so he said, look, I'll face the winner of Amir Khan and Kell Brook. If that doesn't happen, then I'll face the winner of Adrian Broner. And he said, okay, if none of those guys want it, then I will face. Then he's like, I'm happy to fight Ugas. He's a WBA champion currently. He said, I'll take my chances with Ugas. I think he'd lose to Ugas. I think Ugas is too much. Ugas is a top 5 welterweight. I think Conor Benn apparently said in his post-match interview, I think I missed it, but he said that he thought he was a top 5 welterweight. In my eyes, he's not. He's potentially top 10, but if he was top 10, he'd be maybe 9 or 10. I was doing the list yesterday, and I think he'd be around 9, 10, potentially. But the fight that I really want to see, which you didn't even mention, was Avenice. A couple of people in the chat mentioned Marku. Marku is an exciting fighter. I think Marku needs to rack up some more notable wins, or a couple of notable wins like Conor Benn has in his last 3 fights, and then we can potentially talk about that fight. But at the moment, I would like to see him face Avanesian. And if he faces Avanesian, he'll also pick up European titles. I think he should do that. I know they're trying to take it on the international route, and Avanesian is seen as someone who is high risk, low reward. But it would be a fantastic fight. They've both got power. It would be a huge learning fight as well for Conor Benn. But look, obviously, we shall see how it plays out 2022. But that would be my pick. Let me know in the comments below what you think. What did you think, 1, of the knockout, and 2, also who do you think you should face? And please do remember to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you don't mind. It really does help us out. We also do have a Discord. It's in the description of this video. You check it out. And we also are on Patreon if you want to help out. And all other bits and pieces, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please remember to stay safe and well, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you very much.